Okay, Mayor, meeting is yours.
Okay, thank you, Susan. We certainly want to welcome everyone to the Benton Town Council meeting for this November 15th. Susan, if you would please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins.
Here.
Councilmember Stovall.
Here.
Vice Mayor McCarty.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. As you folks know, here in Benton we use a moment of silence. I'll ask you to stand for that in a minute. During this time, everyone can pray or meditate as they see fit. In your thoughts and prayers, I would ask you to keep this community and this country and this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. And also, we want to keep University of Virginia, the staff and the students there in our prayers as they're going through a very, very difficult time after a terrible tragedy. While we're standing, we'll also have the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Lyles, who's going to do that this evening?
I will take care of it tonight.
All right, thank you, sir. So if you folks would stand for those two items, please.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so as usual, we will call on Vice Mayor McCarty for our upcoming events. What's going on?
We got a few things going on. Twin Creeks, we have Wednesday night bingo at 6, trivia night at 6 on Thursday, and Friday and Saturday they have live music. Rosie's on the 18th of November, Andy Burnett Trio. The 19th is Travis Ray. The 25th is Rare Form, and the 26th is Eric Wayne Band. They are all at 8 o'clock. The Vinton War Memorial, the parade of trees on the lawn of the Vinton War Memorial. Santa will be here on the dates, the 6th, the 10th, the 7th, and the 22nd. The 6th and 22nd looks like it's evening shift at 7 p.m., and the 10th and the 17th is at 11 a.m. So they have the tree lighting at the municipal building and 7 p.m. Parade kickoff at the Vinton War Memorial on the 1st of December. I can't believe I'm saying that. December. And then on the 13th of December, we'll be doing the Santa Crawl again, which we love so much. We have a lot of good fun with that. Leaving the War Memorial at 5:30. There's 4 routes traveling through the neighborhoods, and the routes will be posted at a later date. And that is, wait a minute, December the 3rd, the Benton History Museum is going to have a holiday open house from 10 to 2. And that's all.
Wow, might be a little bit of time for family events.
Maybe. Don't plan anything because we got it planned for you.
So, yes, you're right. So, you mentioned the Santa Crawl, and maybe we should, for both of the folks that are watching,
Okay.
explain kind of what we do with that. How's that work?
We meet at the Vinton War Memorial. We have 4 Santas and 4 Miss Santas and elves, and we go throughout the
Sleighs.
and sleighs, yeah. We go throughout the town, and we have goodies to hand out, and it is as much fun for the older folks as it is for the younger folks, so be on the lookout for us. We just have a blast. We get off of the sleigh and walk around and shake hands and kiss babies and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
Lots of fun, lots of fun. So
And the kids always like to see Santa, of course.
be on the lookout for Santa.
It's one of those good things that came out of the pandemic, actually. We actually wanted to take the celebration into the neighborhood, so I think it's a really nice event. Thank you for that. Didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Oh, no worries, no
Yeah.
worries. It was a good event that we started and we continued.
Yeah, yes, that's right. I would like to remind everyone, I think everyone in the room understands this, but anyone that's watching, if you attend council meetings, at the door, the agenda is always available, and along with that is the guidelines for participation in our meetings. Next item is a request to postpone or change anything on the order agenda. Council, staff, no? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Tonight it has just 3 items. The minutes from the October 18th meeting and also from the November 1st meeting, as well as a resolution that would appropriate some insurance, some monies from an insurance claim.
So moved, consent agenda.
Okay. We have motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you, folks. And now we'll move on to the fun part.
Can I?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
No.
I just received a text of one that I failed to mention
Oh.
in there's a community Thanksgiving service at the Vinton Wesleyan on November the 20th at 6 p.m., and that includes Vinton Baptist, Campbell Presbyterian, and Lynn Haven, and I think a few other churches as well. So it's a community Thanksgiving service involving all the local churches at the Wesleyan Church, November the 20th at 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, thank you so much. That's an important event that I intended to promote also. It is a great event because it allows all the churches in the Vinton area to get together for a worship service. Really nice, very nice. And with that, we will move on to the awards and presentations. Mr. Manager, I understand you have an introduction tonight.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Council, Vice Mayor McCarty, members of Council. Yes, I do. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Marshall Stanley. Marshall officially just started with the town as of yesterday, so he is brand new to the town, but he's not a stranger. Marshall comes to us from Roanoke County, where he served as the Economic Development Specialist, so we've had the pleasure of working with Marshall on a number of opportunities. A lot of the staff here has worked with Marshall. So this position was created to bolster the town's ongoing economic development efforts, really enhance our recruitment efforts to fill in retail and destination businesses that we'd like to develop in the town, and as well as improve our kind of external communications and messaging that we'd like to do more of in the town. Marshall began his professional career in economic development as an administrative associate with the City of Lynchburg in 2019. And prior to that, he served as a program liaison with the Greater Roanoke Workforce Development Board. He graduated cum laude from the University of Lynchburg in 2018, and he received his bachelor's degree in communication studies with a concentration in social influence. He developed his interest in community building when he began working for the Office of Community Involvement at the University of Lynchburg, as well as serving as marketing public relations intern with the City of Lynchburg's Office of Economic Development and Tourism. So a lot of relative experience in this field. Marshall did grow up in the Roanoke Valley. Enjoys spending time in his free time hiking, kayaking, and exploring new trails in the region. And Marshall also is very fond of exploring local restaurants, and as he says, he will never say no to Salem Red Sox or Roanoke Rail Yards game. A couple of fun facts about Marshall. He and his 2 brothers are on a mission to visit as many Major League ballparks as possible, and he enjoys seeking out hole-in-the-wall donut shops while he's visiting the other states. So Marshall says that a lot can be said for a community by the quality of their donuts. So I look forward. I look forward to what he can do to improve our donut game in Benton. I look forward to that. And like I said, a lot of us have gotten to know Marshall over the last couple of years as he's worked for Roanoke County, and I've particularly enjoyed working with him. I enjoy his communication style. He's got a passion for local government, so I love surrounding myself with folks that that have that same interest as I do. And he's got a very approachable demeanor. So I think he'll fit in extremely well with our well-rounded complement of staff here. So I appreciate having him join the team.
Well, Marcia,
You have to go to Rosie's.
oh,
They
yeah.
have a great
Yeah, you want to talk
red
donuts?
velvet donut. Delicious.
Yeah, yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, they certainly do, yeah. Well, I like your measure of a community, you know, that's my kind of stuff. If you can measure a community by donuts, I'd be glad to assist you in that.
Among other things, but
Yeah. Right. Well, many of us know Marshall, and we're all very excited to have you on board. And Marshall, it's become tradition here when we have new folks for us to greet you formally. If you want to come up, we'd like to, all of us, shake hands with you if you want to. You have to run the gauntlet here, you know. Yeah, get those.
You better try to start with the
Always start with the guy with the gun.
Sounds like you're gonna fit right
definitely
in.
don't end with the
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Looking forward to it.
Hello again.
I did it. Somewhere already beat me to it.
Marcia, we're very excited to have you here. Certainly a well-qualified person and very excited. Many of us have seen you around for quite a while. But I'm also excited that the town of Vinton can finally get to this point where we've got someone that's going to be working almost exclusively. Let's face it, it's a small town. We all do different things, but just the fact that we can have someone with the title of Economic Development Specialist, that's very exciting. So, Council, any comments?
Welcome.
Yeah,
Yep.
welcome, and I think you hit it when you said, you know, it's nice to be at this point that we can do that.
Yeah, you're right.
Look forward to everything that you do next week.
Next week, it's still most of this week left.
Give me that long.
Oh, you get a donut shop, I'll be open that quick.
All right. And with that, I guess we'll move on to citizens' comments. Susan, I don't guess you received anything in your office, and I don't see any visitors here this evening. So with that, we'll move on to our public hearing for this evening, which is for a proposed amendment to the Town of Vinton Comprehensive Plan. I would like to officially open the meeting, and we will start with a report from staff. I understand Nathan's going to do that. After that, we will receive public comments and any discussion by council. Good evening, Nathan.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. So before you have an ordinance that is to amend our comprehensive plan and to adopt and incorporate by reference the Town of Vinton Gap Summary Route 24 Bike Ped Plan. You are aware of the plan and the details. Many of you have been briefed on it many times and have attended the various meetings that were held throughout the year when that was being completed. And we had a briefing at the previous town council meeting. Also, November 3rd, the Vinton Plan Commission voted unanimously to recommend the plan to be adopted by reference as well. Just to reiterate, the reason to adopt it into our comprehensive plan is to ensure that the recommended improvements are made eligible for future transportation grant funding to VDOT grant processes, and then also it solidifies and legitimizes the work of those steering committees, town staff, and the Vinton residents that participate in the creation of the plan itself. So, pending your questions, as we have before you is that ordinance.
Okay, Nathan, thank you very much. Again, Susan, have you received any comments in your office?
Have not.
Okay. And I don't see anyone here to make any comments this evening. Council, you have any questions for Nathan or any comments? We've all been through this thing a few times. Okay, well, Nathan, thank you very much. And with that, I will officially close the public hearing. And that is correct, right, Jeremy? So, so Council, you have before you an ordinance that would, in fact, adopt the amendment to the Town of Vinton Comprehensive Plan, as we've heard described several times.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles, a second by Vice Mayor McCarty. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. All right. And obviously, the ordinance passes. And with that, we'll move on to our briefings for this evening. I understand, Anita, you have a briefing, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, members of the Town Council. Just a briefing with town staff and Roanoke County staff has been working with Roanoke City staff regarding their string bank restoration project. As you all aware, just like the Woodland Place, this project is going to be funded by the SLUF fund that we apply, and they got the grant funding in 2020. And from 2021, town staff and Roanoke County staff have worked with the city. In fact, the draft agreement has been reviewed by our attorney, Mr. Carroll, and we gave them the final draft back in June. And we did not hear from the city for a while. And then they contacted us again in October that they would like to move forward with the project. This is a briefing because there's still several information that we still need from the city, and as far as the deed of easement, and then Roanoke County also be involved because a part of the project is going to be where our greenway is, where that Roanoke County, that used to be Roanoke County Career Center. So they also will be needing easement from Roanoke County. Having said that, I did get a call from a town resident because if you go through Gasney, go Vale, Kermit, that road is extremely eroded because of the string bank. The project itself will benefit the town, just like what the county did with Glade Creek String Bank Project, Phase 1 and Phase 2. So downstream, they are just like everybody, every locality. We do have to meet DEQ, TMDL allocation requirement, and this is a part of the Roanoke City project to reduce that. It just so happened that the property belonged to the town. So, and they do have to have that agreement with the town and DEQ because they will get the benefit as far as the TMDL allocations. I'd be happy to answer any question. I do have the maps in the agreement showing where the 4 properties in the town limits and 2 of the town property that is located in Roanoke City. So.
Okay. Thank you very much. There again, this is something that's kind of been floating around.
Yes, sir.
If I can use that word, floating around, but for a while. So it's good. It's good that we've reached this point. And I'm sure Jeremy's been through this several times. So appreciate all the work that has been done on this. Council, you have any questions or comments? Anita, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. So this will be on an agenda for approval soon, right? Okay.
It's not December, will be next year.
We
Sorry.
can work out a few of the nuances with the city and the agreement. There's some modifications we requested, and so assuming we get that sorted out, we'll bring it back to council for your authorization.
And one of the things Anita mentioned were deeds of easement. That's an exhibit to the contract, and we're still trying to get that finalized too. But that shouldn't be an issue.
Oh, okay.
Pretty
good.
standard form.
And I would like to say that we will encourage the city to share details with some of their citizen correspondence, because while the project primarily is in the city of Roanoke, is at least where the string bank is, it would have some impact on our residents. So we will try to increase the communication to our residents as this project has the potential for traffic impacts.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much. And with that, Mr. Manager, I understand you have a briefing also.
I just have a couple of updates for council. As most everyone has noticed, the bridge, for Garthwaite Bridge, preventive maintenance got underway. I'm sorry?
You got to do your committee, council committees.
Council committees.
Oh, I missed one. I apologize.
That's all right. I thought it was me. It's usually me that skips
I
over
completely
things.
skipped over that. Sorry about
No
that.
problem. I was interested in the updates. anyway,
Right?
so
Let me finish those while I'm on it.
Get to the
and then
good
I'll go
stuff.
back if that's okay.
Not a
So,
problem.
we have the bridge construction that's ongoing, so the road, the lane closures were installed yesterday, so we had our first full day today, and I know a number of staff participated in going through that, those lane closures in every direction so that we could kind of experience it for ourselves, because, in paper, it looks one way, but when I actually go through it, and we feel like it flows fairly well. It is a slight delay, but I think the traffic closure is working fairly well in the sense of the volume of traffic that goes through there. It's moving pretty good. So we'll continue to monitor that, and we'll have conversations with the contractors necessary to make any adjustments, but obviously that's in play. The other item was the traffic signals. We have indications from our contract vendor that the equipment for the traffic signals on Niagara Vineyard and Bypass Hardy have arrived, so we've been waiting on some equipment. So we're going to be coordinating with the police as well as the contractor for, and I'll communicate to you later this week on the definitive dates on when the installation will happen. But we think if things go well within the next week or so, we'll start getting that equipment installed. And they will be done in sequence, not all at once. So there will be some, we'll try to minimize the impacts to the degree we can, but I will pass along more specific details to you later this week as we kind of formalize our plan of attack in particular with our police department. But that's good news that the equipment's in. And you've already covered the string bank restoration, so I don't need to go into that in any more detail. So appreciate me getting out of order a little bit, letting me pass on that.
Not a problem.
Back to the actual item on the council committees. So as it currently sets, we have 3 active council committees. We have a finance committee, a public works committee, economic development committee, and a public safety committee, so I misspoke 4. Each year, council, we reorganize and members of council serve on those committees. What we'd like to do is discontinue the use of the public safety committee in any of those items that would come forward that would typically fall to that committee would either fall to the public works if it's related to road improvements, or we have a special call committee that we can highway safety committee that we can pull as needed. And so we still have an avenue to take public safety items through, but since we don't have the fire department any longer, it makes sense to consolidate that into one of the other existing committees. And then the other committee we'd like to start is a community development committee. So oftentimes we'll have economic development. We don't have an opportunity, however, to talk about things that Anita and Nathan's department are working on, or things that Chastity's department are working on. So as we work through the committees, and I think the structures work really well to work on some of the behind-the-scenes details in committee structure, and then by the time we get to council, it's been evaluated and the details have been fleshed out. And so by developing or having a community development committee, we can discuss economic development, but we can also discuss land use, community programs, and a lot of other subjects in that, and we can meet more frequently. The Econ Dev Committee has been the less frequent used committee, and it's kind of been pulled together as needed. In this case, we'd have finance every month. We'd have public works and community development alternating months. So we would have a more frequent meeting schedule for the various committees, and it would be a good number of committees for the 5 members of council. Everyone would get to serve on a committee, and then one of you would get to serve on 2 committees. And so I'll let Susan talk a little bit about how we'll go about the process, but we've talked about this in general, just in the idea of creating this 3rd committee and how it could be utilized and be beneficial to move business forward.
Okay, so what we plan to do, council, is at our December 6th meeting, we would like to dissolve the Economic Development Committee and the Public Safety Committee and create the Community Development Committee. And then, I guess congratulations is in order for Vice Mayor McCarty and Councilmember Stovall being reelected. As you know, this is our first year of our election being in November, so our organizational meeting will be January 3rd. And at that meeting, as we always do, we will appoint council members to the three committees that we will have established: the Community Development, the Finance Committee, and the Public Works Committee, and we'll do it at that meeting. So we think this is a good use of committees and get them all involved, and things that we feel like staff really needs help on. So that's staff's recommendation, and we will take action on the 6th if you all are fine with that.
Okay, sounds good. Council, you have any questions or comments?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a very efficient manner to handle, as you said, to flush out the details and everything. Our committee system has worked. It's worked real well, so I'm very excited about the changes. Okay. Anything
Maybe I
else?
can get one of the committees to help me with my presentation of the town manager section of the agenda.
We'll just the agenda.
Sorry I butchered that this evening.
Oh, no worries.
It's quite all right. He just does that to make me feel good. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your thoroughness. All right, and with that, speaking of committees, we'll move on to the reports from the committees, and tonight we have the Finance Committee report.
Absolutely. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. I've got a few things to talk about from our most recent Finance Committee. The first one, the consent agenda, we knocked out in the consent agenda the vehicle damage to the police vehicle, so that's gone. The next thing that I wanted to touch on is the September 30th financial statements. So at this point, we've got 1 quarter behind us of the year, and things continue to look positive. All our major revenue sources, to include personal property, parimutuel, meals tax, business license, and even cigarette stamp revenues, are either meeting or exceeding budget. So that continues to move in a good way. We're excited about that. As far as expenses go, the town's largest expense category, personnel, is remaining under budget, which is also a good thing. And all other revenue, or all other expense categories, are continuing to stay at or under budget. So things are good in both revenue creation and generation, and then also expenses. There haven't really been any trends that are affecting the revenue side or the expense side either way to date. So things continue to move along in a good way as far as revenues and expenses are concerned. As far as the cash position goes, things continue to look good through September. Total cash on hand is a little bit over $14 million, with a little over $6 million of that being restricted cash. And we experienced August into September about a $300,000 growth in our general fund cash, which is very good. Segueing into investments. We've got about $3.3 million in investments, and that is made up of a various combination of money markets, CDs, and a couple of other trust funds that we have. But to date, we have seen minimal growth in our investment funds, which has kind of been difficult for me to watch. Month over month, we had essentially $500 in accrued interest on a little over $3 million in investment funds. So one of the things that I had kind of tasked myself with was, given the current rate environment that we're in, seeing what options we have to better use the town's investment monies. So looking at the investment policy, we've got 3 major pillars here, and the first is the preservation of principal, the second is the maintenance of liquidity, and the third is maximizing the return of those funds. So I took some time and surveyed all of the banks in the town to see what options they had and what might be best there were a variety of things out there that were very enticing, but the two things that I wanted to focus most on were obviously preservation of principal, so we didn't want to do anything that risked loss to the principal. But secondly, what could we do that would give us a nice return on these funds, but wouldn't tie them up forever. So we try not to do too long of a CDs. Our investment policy allows us up to 24 months, but we don't like to tie up monies in CDs and things like that for too long. So we found a product at one of our local institutions that allowed 3.8% on 4 months. So we moved some money from our utility fund that had been being maintained in our utility fund over to this, and that's going to earn us just about $25,000 over a 4-month period. So that money had been housed in our checking account, earning no interest, and now over a 4-month period, it's going to yield just about $25,000. So again, that could be turned over 3 times annually and turn into a $75,000 earning as long as interest rates stay the way that they are. So that was exciting. Another good thing that we made changes on was we have a money market with just shy of 1.6 million in it. We had been earning 0.40% interest on that, and working with the financial institution where that is, we were able to get that moved from 0.40% to 2.75%. So on that money over a 1-year period, we're looking at increasing the yield of interest accrual from $6,000 to just shy of $44,000. So really, just given the state of things and the way interest rates are, we made some pretty what I would consider strategic moves to really make the most of the money that we don't need for operations immediately. So again, the good thing about that is this money will be coming due in 4 months, so we can, if we need to move it to operations at that point, we can reinvest it, or have that conversation, do a combination, and go from there. So a lot of good things that came from that, and we're actually able to start earning some considerable money on our investment funds. But that is just about it. Do you all have any questions or anything about?
Good job.
You earned your salary. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. It's great. I'm very glad. I appreciate the fact that we have professionals in charge that can look after that sort of thing. Mike and I serve on the finance committee, but we certainly look to you guys to investigate all those different avenues where we can invest our money. Obviously, you've done a good job with that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great job.
Mr. Mayor, I will just step up and sing Andrew's praises. When we shopped a CD in June, we were thrilled to have 1.41% in June. Now, 5 months later, he is finding 3+%, so more than double in a 5-month period.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's the state of affairs. So couldn't be happier with some of those returns.
Great job. That was a great job.
It is a great job.
Awesome.
And like Lori said, his salary, 4 months, hey, $71,000. We got any other positions available?
I got a couple tricks to save some money.
I think this is the only time we like to see higher interest rates.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, this makes me happy, otherwise, not really.
The Public Works Department is always hiring.
That's fun. That's the most fun department.
Yeah, true. Well, good job. So, council, you've heard the finance committee report. Is there a motion to accept the report as presented?
So moved.
I will second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Stovall, second by Councilmember Mullins. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right. And with that, we will move on to comments from council. Mr. Stovall, you have anything further?
I do. I first off want to once again thank the town or the staff for inviting us to the luncheon for veterans.
No.
I know that all of them aren't here, but, once again, congratulations for serving. And the other thing is, I think it was very exciting today to see Pokey Joe's come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready to go. Looks like it's got some good-looking food on Facebook. So I've eaten one time in the Lynchburg restaurant. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be good. And I'm looking forward to that. So
I guess you were doing some research or
I
something.
was.
Yeah. Yeah, good comment. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, you have anything further?
That report was a good way to end, or be it towards the end of the business part. That's exciting, and I appreciate that. And just want to say, everyone have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. We're here. It's
Yep.
Yeah.
year's
Yeah.
winding down.
That's
It
next
is.
week.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, you have any comments?
I do. I just wanted to apologize for having to miss a couple of meetings. I had some stuff going on at work that I had to attend. I do not like to miss council meetings, so just wanted to publicly apologize for having to do that, but it was something that I had to do, not something that I necessarily wanted to fall on the same night. But I missed you guys. I'm glad to be back, and continue to keep my who's in your prayers.
That's for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I think everyone has said just about everything. I hope everyone has a nice holiday with their families, and hard to believe the year's over, almost.
I know.
Yeah,
But a lot of great things have happened this year, and can't wait to see what happens next year.
yeah.
And we've got a month full of fun things coming up.
Yeah, no kidding. A lot of things, yeah. Yeah, just briefly, I would like to once again remind everyone of the community church service. As we mentioned before, it's an opportunity for everyone in the community to get together and worship together. It's a very nice service. Of course, we want to congratulate Sabrina and Mike on their overwhelming victories.
Tough election.
Yeah, of course, you guys know what you've been elected to, and it's more than just attending this meeting. As we talked earlier, there are committee meetings here in town and activities to attend. In addition, we always ask our council members to serve on regional committees, and so each of the council members are obligated, I guess you should say, to do that. And along those lines, the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission recently had their annual dinner, and it was very well attended by folks from Benton. We had a good representation there. Council members Mike Stovall and Keith Lyles, our town manager Pete Peters and his wife attended. Cody was there, and my wife and I attended. And did I miss anyone? I probably did.
Somehow you gained somebody, because Keith Lyles didn't make it. He
You weren't there?
had a planning commission.
Maybe your spirit was there. I'm sorry.
He gets credit like that all the time.
Let me mark you off here, buddy.
Yeah, I was there.
That's why his stock's so high in the town event, because he gets credit for all his stuff.
I had to, I didn't get to go to that fun stuff. Although Anita and Nathan are fun, we had work to do. We couldn't just go and hobnob with everybody.
Well, I wish I could say we were thinking about you, but not so much. But anyhow, as you folks mentioned, it looks as though we're finishing up the year in good financial shape. That's always good news. So I too would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And with that, anything further to come before council meeting? No? Marshall, welcome. I hope you enjoy it here. We're looking forward to working with you. If there is nothing else, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by leaving. Yeah.